Testing. 1, 2. Is this thing on? Oh, yeah. It's on. It is too early for this crap. But my goodness. My goodness. My goodness. My goodness. I don't even know where to begin. Anyway. Beyond words, I didn't even name this episode. What's up, everybody? We're going to talk Crackdown 3. This is lost for words. My voice is hoarse, congested, but I'm powering through this thing because I gotta just get this off my chest from what I've seen, and you've seen from my Twitter. We're going to talk Crackdown 3 and multiplayer and what this vision that Microsoft has is going to do to their games and what I've seen. And I only can respond to what I've seen. So anyway, this is your boy Jez7780. Follow me over on Twitter and on YouTube. And this is a What Grinds My Gears. And I wanted to save for episode 50 because I'm up there. I'm like 3 subscribers away from 200. I want to thank you for the support. But I'm not naming this 50 yet. I'm saving that for Valentine's Day. There's going to be a whole lot of love on Valentine's Day. So stay tuned for episode 50 on Valentine's Day. V-Day, D-Day, possibly for Crackdown 3. St. Valentine's Day Massacre, maybe. If this stuff just keeps coming and coming, I can't even hold in how I feel about what Microsoft has done to this game. But anyway, follow me over on YouTube. Follow me over on Twitter. And let me tell you a story. So we're going to grab you a cup of coffees. See what you want to do. Twitter is ablaze right now. And we're going to try to keep this short so I don't lose my voice entirely. But as you've seen, so if you go Kid Smooth channel last night, got into the test, the technical test of Crackdown 3 Wrecking Zone multiplayer. And one thing that I noticed was when we got into the game was that people were counting down from the menu screen. And you can see it from the stream on Kid Smooth's channel. And everybody's like, okay, everybody at the screen? All right. 3, 2, 1, go. And then it would matchmake. And then it happened to put some of us together on a team, some on the other team, and some just by themselves. And you'll hear one of the guys like, hey, I'm by myself. But we're all in a party together. And I was like, well, can you invite people? Invite me to your group. Let's go play together. Oh, no, that's not in here. Non-technical test. But it'll be in launch. It'll be there in the full game. This is just a test. I'm like, have they confirmed that? Nobody was like, oh, I don't know. It'll be there. And you could hear it actually on the stream. I asked these questions. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. Come to see the news this morning on Twitter from Windows Central that they have confirmed, excuse me, again, I'm under the weather, but they have confirmed on Discord chat and then later by Joseph Staten on Twitter that there will not be matchmaking party invite systems. So you can't buddy up with a friend or party up with a team of 5 people or anything like that and jump into a game together. What's up, man? PlayStation Plus Podcast. How you doing, man? Yeah. And you can't invite anybody. What's up, Jamal? How you doing, man? So you can't buddy up with a friend and jump into the multiplayer. Now, let me just get into how my impressions of the multiplayer was of just a technical test, and then explain where this thing goes, right? So the multiplayer is, I'm going to tell you right now, the destruction doesn't need to be there. The destruction does nothing. It is like if you add snow or rain to a scene. It maybe adds a little atmosphere, but it doesn't really do anything. It's more just aesthetics. And because you could still lock on to people through the walls, which that was the whole point, which leads to a lot of the frustration that a lot of us were experiencing, where once you get a lock on, that lock on is so strong. It is a play to win. It is a click to win button. Like you just hold you just hold FL trigger and just hold right trigger, and it's just like, have fun. It is like if you're playing an air combat game, like an Ace Combat, and you're just locked on. Like you just hit the button and you locked on and just fire out. And even the rockets are homing rockets. So you could just be going one way and the rockets just like turn and curve. Like the lock on is super strong. Like it is like baby multiplayer. It's like my first multiplayer. Like, you know, if you have like my first, that's what it feels like. It's like my first multiplayer. Like, oh, well, you're not into multiplayer games, but hey, click this button and the lock on is so strong. The whole point of the destruction was saying that, oh, it breaks the line of sight. Well, you go through buildings, you blast through buildings and stuff, and that lock on stays on you, that red line. And there is no visceral feedback that you're losing power. There's no, like, you don't feel your control rumbling, like pop shots, like, oh my God, I'm getting hit. No, you just have to look at your screen and just look at your energy and watch your energy go down. Like, that's it. Like, the laser beam that's on you is basically saying somebody has a lock on you. And you have to dodge and go through buildings and stuff like that. And it is like paper, because everything just is falling all over the place, but it has no weight to it. Like, it does not hurt you. It doesn't stun you. If a guy's on a bridge and you bring the bridge down, what's up, frogs, man? Bring a bridge down. Like, the guy doesn't have any fall damage. And, like, you could, like, jetpack yourself all the way up to the sky and just rain down minigun. The minigun, I just used that. That was, like, the key to win. Shotgun, no, I don't even know why you would have a two-shot when people are just laying into you with rockets and miniguns. I don't know why you would want that. In the machine gun, there's no ammo regens. There's no ammo pickups. It is my first multiplayer. Now, granted, I thought it was fun for somewhat. I thought it was cool, it was fun. And I don't know if it was more of, like, again, the Sea of Thieves quote, because I was playing with friends, or we were joking and yelling at each other, going, I got you, I got you, I got your tag. And I think that's mostly like what it was, because if you're in there by yourself, I can't see the draw to it. First off, there's no communication. And then coming off of, no, the globes, hey, buddy boy, the globes, I don't believe are ammo. The globes are off to power up your super, which is your L1 and R1 triggers, which is basically, I had an overshield, or somebody has like a bubble shield on them. It's more to power up those. The ammo regens. And I believe it reloads too. It's so chaotic too. Like, you don't even know, like, the map doesn't matter. I could see why they only have 3 maps in the game, because the map doesn't matter, because you're in the air the whole time. Like that, if you really want to play this game and work on this game, you basically have to just fly. Like, you just gotta basically stay above everybody and just shoot down on them. And that's basically what it is. Because if you just stay on the ground and are, like, really shooting out walls to get people, you're dead, because the people are flying all above you. It is almost like an air game. Like, it is mostly like a dogfight game. Like, if you want to play like Ace Combat, that's how this game plays. Yeah, unlimited ammo, no manual reloads. Yes, there's no manual reloads either. But everybody's flying above you. And that's the way to win the game. Like, if you're on the ground, you're done, because you are a ping for everybody on you. So really, it doesn't, like, the level design really doesn't matter, because with the boost button that you use for the right bumper and the jetpack jumps and then the air dodges is basically like, I won't say like an Iron Man game, but it is like that, where you're just in the air locking onto people and just laying into them with your machine gun. And and that's the strategy of the game. And then also too, like, you will see a little ping when you're hitting somebody, but you're really just looking at their meter. And yeah, there's no reloading. Like I said, if it plays like my first multiplayer, like, what's up, Jemai? How you doing? Like, it is basically like no multiplayer for children. Like, hey, I don't know how to play like that. That's how I feel what it is. The mechanics in that game really are very simplified. The button layout is atrocious. I do have to say that. That I don't know if they play tested this thing, but having the B button as your ground pound and having the click the left stick for your jetpack boost in the air, like you want to dodge with B, instead you're dodging with clicking the stick. And when you're in the air and you hit B, you just go straight down in a ground pound, no matter how high you are, and it takes you out of the whole kind of like being up in the air shooting down on people. So I was constantly trying to dodge with B, and then I'll be just slamming to the ground. And there's no fall damage, and you can't fall off the map. Instead, what they have are deep zones around the map that hurt you if you're in it. So if you're below the playing ground, you don't fall to your death. Instead, you fall into this zone, and you have to jump out of it, but you're losing power in it. It's like a deep power zone. There's no pickups in the game, whereas people are fighting for like holding down a part of the map or anything like that. That's why the map really doesn't even matter. Like the destruction, the map, the plain designs of the wall, of the ceiling, of the buildings and stuff, it doesn't matter because you're flying in the game. Like you're jumping all over the place in the game. Like you should never be on your feet in Crackdown. Like if you're on your feet, you're gonna get killed, and that's what's gonna happen. And then also too, like the tags drop from the sky, so they'll fall into that zone and stuff. And one thing I noticed in the game was I didn't think I could pick up my friends' tags. I tried going over them, but I don't know if it nullifies it or takes it away. I don't know if it was just a glitch, or maybe I didn't know if that's the whole point of the game, like almost like kill confirmed. The second thing is that there's only two game modes. There is this kill confirmed. Basically, you got to collect their tags, and then there is territories, which maybe territories impacts the map more so. Like you got to hold down an area, but but just in the normal gameplay, 5-on-5, there's no 1 versus 10 or anything like that. It's just 5v5. Like I said, it is very simplified. And you have loadouts. There's no pickups. There's no like a power weapon on the map that everybody's fighting for. And like, you would think with the arena style game, you wouldn't just depend on your loadout. Like there would be pickups on the map that give you some powers or that give you an advantage over somebody to make the map worthwhile. And mind you, there's only 3 maps. So overall, it is very simplified. I think it'll be fun for like maybe a day or so just to play. But the issue is that the destruction it's unwarranted. It's unnecessary. It doesn't really do anything. I'm playing Red Faction, playing Just Cause 4, games that have destruction in them. And Red Faction, unfortunately, nobody plays that game online, even when it launched. But that game was incredible, and that makes Crackdown look like shit with the destruction that was in Red Faction Guerrilla. And I did a video on my channel about it. Of like, look at the destruction of it. And that was in single player, but that also is in multiplayer. And they had so many game modes. They had team anarchy. They had so many things. They had, take down people's things, like other bases, like destruction mode. Like you had to go there and destroy their base, like with the physics and everything. Unfortunately, and it had a great matchmaking system with parties in it back in the day. And now, unfortunately, I don't think a lot of people are playing it. Because it's really hard to find the game, but I like to host one. I always loved that game when it came out, but because it did something amazing, and I thought it'll get a revitalization when it came out with the remaster. But the single player is great, but the multiplayer is still nobody's playing it, but it's awesome. Yeah, and I saw Buddy Boy. Yeah, I saw Red Dragon's video. That's enough. We'll get into that. That was what I was gonna save my thing for, like just talking about the downgrade and the promise of this game. And I know it's been through development hell. You know what they've shown and what they promised, the cloud and all stuff. But I'm just giving my impression of what I played on that multiplayer. And I'm telling you, from what we saw and they showed in 2015 of the destruction and how the building falls down and it stays there and you could climb up it and it's a ramp to take you up to a higher level. And like there's some strategy in how you will make the building fall. This one is just like it's just tumbling pieces of wall. And the buildings have there's no furniture. There's nothing in there to even look like these are buildings. Like this is a city. It looks like a VR environment of plain just walls that prefabricated walls that just break off in pieces and fall down, and the rumble disappears. Like some of it stays the rubble, but most of it just kind of just dissolves and goes away. And I think Red Dragon showed that. So even the power of this cloud that was supposed to calculate the physics of how each of these pieces were going to handle, you don't see the stuff moving, like you don't see it gathering on the floor like this pile of rubble. You might have it immediately like there when it first falls down, and then it slowly just goes away. It is really, I don't understand the reason why this exists. I do, because I know that they want developers to use this technology, and that's kind of like, hey, nobody's going to use it if we don't show how it's implemented. So this is for the developers. But the problem is that it doesn't look that compelling that a developer walking in will be like, wow, that wrecking zone was something I never seen before, and that's only done by Microsoft's Azure cloud. Like, I don't think it's a good selling point. Like, just because you could show that it works, like proof of concept, it doesn't look like appealing that a dev would want to do that. And then given the restrictions, and that's what we're going to get into, we're counting down. There is no party or invite system. You on Microsoft, all the money in the world, number one, right? So rich, the power of Microsoft's money, these studios with all the money behind it, and you delayed this game to give it polish. It was supposed to come out November 7th, 2017. Wait, guys. November 7th. And I'm not going to get loud because I don't want to lose my voice. November 7th, 2017. They showed the single player. They made people play the single player at Comic-Con. It got laughed out of the fucking stadium because people didn't know how to play it, supposedly. The multiplayer was supposed to be shown at Gamescom, and then the week before Gamescom, Phil delays the game, saying, oh, it's not Crackdown. We got to fix it. So therefore, November 7th goes away, the week before Gamescom, when people are like, where's the multiplayer? Where's the destruction? You showed us the destruction. Now you tell me it's all about the single player. But Crackdown was led with destruction. They had a friggin' orb in the reveal video of the original Xbox One. There was a Crackdown orb on there, hinting at Crackdown was coming, and then the next year they confirmed it. And they showed this destruction of 2014, I think, or 20, yeah. And they led with multiplayer and this destruction. It wasn't story, it wasn't campaign, but then they did a flip around on 2015 going, it's about the campaign. And then we don't see multiplayer, and they said Gamescom. And he delayed it. This game was delayed from November 7th, 2017. Was supposed to come out last year. It was in the lineup for Game Pass last year. In January 2018, if you go back, it was Crackdown, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, and Forza. Well, they didn't confirm Forza, but Crackdown was part of the announcement for Game Pass. And then E3 came around. Wait to E3. How many times you hear that? And they showed a little clip, and everybody's like, whoa, what's going on? What's going on? No multiplayer shown. Some Terry Crews running around, and some highlight reel. Nothing. And then XO18 was when they brought it down to Mexico. Nobody was allowed to take pictures of it or anything, and we got the glimpse first of the multiplayer at XO18 in December. And this game's coming out in February. I don't know where to begin with how disappointed I am, the lack of confidence I have as Microsoft Game Studios, Microsoft as a company to make games. And if they can ever make something than Gears, Halo, or Forza, I'm not confident that they could do anything else. And unfortunately, if you look at it, Microsoft bought that. Like, Gears wasn't theirs. There was a second party from Epic. So I know they worked on it, and then they just bought Gears and got Rod Ferguson over there. But like, same thing with Minecraft. They talk about Minecraft being everywhere. They just keep the lights on. Minecraft already was everywhere. So I want to know what they can do from the ground up. What can they make? And it does, and now it's like, are we even getting good games? But we're getting games that are half-baked. And I hear, and they bought Halo 2, buddy boy. I was about to say that too. They bought Halo 2 from, with that stuff. These games were being bought, and Microsoft just kept the lights on and did the marketing and all that other stuff. They really, from the ground up, just built an IP that was successful. And and this is the reason why I had to start this thing today, because I am getting sick and tired of everything that comes out of the Microsoft development camp. Is this not at launch stuff? Post-launch. The Windows Central article in February 1st says that they are not committed to any long-term plan for Crackdown. Like, there's no like season or like, hey, this is all rollout of content that we're going to have for Crackdown multiplayer. They said, quote, we are not committing to long-term. But then they say right now, parties are not going to be there at launch. You can't invite your friends to play on the 3 maps and 2 game modes, which that was my first rage. Was like, that is disgraceful for a company that's charging to play online to ensure that there's some online community. Your first party is supposed to demonstrate the power of all your services and your box. And they are doing neither. Crackdown is not a graphical showcase to warrant the $500 Xbox One X power. It is not a demonstration of the Azure cloud of working as promised, because it doesn't have any new there's nothing in there that we've never seen before. And to show how poorly implemented it is makes it a necessity. Like, you don't need it there. And it's just aesthetics. It's like snow falling, rain. Like, it doesn't hold any weight. And they said it is like paper cardboard. And it's not. And you look at Battlefield and the destruction, and you look how like things had weight. Like, if you hit something with a sledgehammer, was different than hitting it with a rocket launcher. This thing, you're hitting it with a pea shooter and it's breaking apart, or you hit it with a rocket launcher and it breaks apart. Like, there's no like, oh, hey, it only breaks apart with your power weapon. So use your power weapon as strategy to break apart a wall to get to somebody. But like I said, everybody's flying around. There's so much anti-air stuff with the jet boost and the jump, and then your right bumper super launch. You go above the map, and you could fly practically all over the friggin' place. So it doesn't even matter about taking out walls and all of those stuff. It's like comparing like with the GT Call of Duty and wall running and jumping and jetpacks, and then saying boots on the ground. Now you got to use the map. Like, it's basically like you go beyond the map. It makes no sense. But to use this as a Azure cloud and talk about the destruction and all this other stuff, it's unnecessary, and it's really doesn't add any value to the game. It may be a cool clip, but if you're standing there shooting out a wall, you're dead, because that's not how you play the game. That's the thing. When you see these clips on Twitter and stuff going, look at this, this is amazing, and the guy standing there shooting at a wall, watching it fall apart, he's not playing the game, because he's going to get killed, because that is not the purpose of the game. Is not destroying the buildings. It has no need. It might as well just be an open airfield because that's what the game is. There is no need for the destruction or the buildings. You just lock onto somebody through the wall, minigun them, and they die. Done. And you usually get a guy who's not even looking at you, and you just lock onto them. Like, the lock on is so strong that, you know, whoever has the jump on somebody, it's done. And there's no, in addition, you're talking about physics and Azure. There's no ragdoll. When your guy dies, he just dissolves in midair. He doesn't fall to his death. He doesn't like roll off and roll and have the building collapse on him, and he's ragdolling into that thing. And you know what? It's just me, but I always gravitated to games that my first thing in multiplayer was, does it have a ragdoll? Like when you kill somebody, do they ragdoll, you know, fall off the thing? And that was like always a thing for me, like back in the original Xbox days. Then just online multiplayer, like, does it have a ragdoll when you kill somebody? Like, because I think that adds more to the game than if a guy just like does a fall animation and just dies. Like, is the ragdoll there? And Crackdown, and I understand games where it's not needed, like, you know, if it is like a virtual game or virtual game where the guy, you know, doesn't ragdoll, it's fine. But like the fact that we're talking physics and we're talking that, you know, the power of the cloud of 12 Xboxes, you know, 12, 15, 20 Xboxes. And the fact that your guy just dissolves in midair and his token just falls to the ground. Your guy doesn't like fall and bounce off a building and tumble down, or especially with all the fighting in the air, you would think that, you know, they ragdoll down, bounce off a building, fall into the debris. Add some visceral experience to it. Add to the physics. Like, I know we have unlimited physics here. We're offloading all this physics. Why doesn't my guy have physics? It's inexcusable. Like, it makes these design decisions, because these are some horrible design decisions. Like, they're going to say it's design decision somewhat, but it's just laziness. It's rushed. It's not fully thought out. And the same thing goes, and this goes on to my other thing. This is Game Pass. This is my feel last year at this time when Microsoft said all their first parties going to Game Pass. This is budget quality bullshit. This is what Game Pass has turned. This is just throw it in Game Pass. We'll fix it later. We'll add some content. We could talk about this stuff for the next year or so, like Sea of Thieves. Just dump it out there, and we'll just talk about it and make it look like, you know, we're adding stuff to the game that probably should have been there at launch. Oh, here's no matchmaking at first. What is it going to be? An E3 announcement? We're going to have Joseph Staten on stage at E3 going like, guys, we heard the feedback. Parties are coming to Crackdown 3 today. Like, is that what Microsoft thinks gets our panties all ruffled? Like, is that what they think that Xbox fans want? Like, is this like I'm watching E3? The world is watching you, and you're going to come out and go, we're introducing an invite system and parties. We've heard the feedback, and we're adding it to Crackdown 3, along with 3 new maps to give us a grand total of 6 maps and multiplayer matchmaking. Oh, and 1 more game mode. We're going to have a 1 versus 10 game mode, a battle royale mode. Yes, exactly, gameplays. They quoted Windows Central on February during the preview event that they have no post-launch plans. They're not committing to any post-launch plans for Crackdown 3. And then Joseph Staten says the week Crackdown comes out, oh, multiplayer invites, party invites to play with your friends, you know, build community, as Ybarra says. Xbox is about building community. The 3 C's. You know, community, content, and creativity. What a fucking bullshit he talks about. Well, how do you establish community when your games don't even have the ability to party up with friends? So What like where's your C there? Your 3 C's, Phil Spencer. Content, community, and whatever. Cock tease, I call the last one, because overpromise, underdeliver. There's your 3 C's. This is disgusting. And Game Pass is a good value, and indie games and double A games that could value from a distribution model like that. But what is coming out of Microsoft first party is disgusting. And and all those studios that they bought, they might as well be a smear of shit, because they don't know how to make games. It's not us complaining about Microsoft just make great games. You want to know what? They don't know how to. I've come to that realization. That group of fucking goof ass bitches and the stupid ass people that they showed meeting together, all the Xbox Game Studios people, they don't know how to make games. I saw Shannon Loftus sitting in there, standing in there. I'm like, she's still working for them. She's like with a goofy ass smile in the middle of that picture of Xbox Game Studios meeting together. She's still working for them. She destroyed any third party, and she's horrible. Global. She don't even tweet about games. I stopped following her because all she talked about is Trump. Make fucking game. You like people don't follow you because of Trump. People follow you because they want to know what's going on with Microsoft games. But you don't tweet about games. So I stopped following her. They don't know how to make games. And I'm seeing this so often. You have diehard Xbox guys picking up a friggin' PlayStation, playing Uncharted, playing God of War, playing the Sony exclusive games, and then turning to their Xbox and going, will you ever give me something like that? That's how That's how I was. And I knew in my heart of hearts that Microsoft will not ever, because they don't know how to make games. And look at the studios they're buying. Are they buying IP? No, they're buying indie guys and growing them. They're buying AA games. They're buying AA studios, little studios, 100 people, and now they're hiring. They're not making big blockbuster decisions. They're not. The initiative, those guys, by the time they come out with a game, Microsoft's not even going to have a fucking console. Microsoft's not even going to, it's going to be passed on account of the, Microsoft's not going to be making hardware anymore by the time Initiative makes a fucking game. And get ready, guys. Get ready. They changed their name from Microsoft Studios to Xbox Game Studios. And the reason why of the name change, if you listen to that stinky ass booty, is because they make games for console, PC, and mobile. Excuse me? Excuse me. What was that again? What was that? You're changing your names to Xbox Game Studios because you make games for console, PC, and mobile? Games for everyone? What? It makes more sense to keep your name as Microsoft Game Studios because you're making multi-platform games than to call yourself Xbox Game Studios and make multi-platform games. It makes no fucking sense. Microsoft is here. Phil and Satya are shitty ass. Basically, they just want to be looked like visionaries. They care more about their public image than about the content that they produce. They want to get away from Steve Ballmer and big angry Microsoft and look like this little humble company that just helps people. Their public image. They don't care about selling products or for end user, for the consumer. They have canceled so many consumer items and consumer initiatives. And I'm going to tell you something. That adaptive controller, right? It is amazing. And it works with PC and with Xbox. And for the amount of commercials and publicity they have been showing for that adaptive controller, that thing should be available everywhere for everyone to buy. Right? Everyone should be able to buy that. It should be at Walmart. It should be at Target. It should be at Best Buy. It should be on Amazon. It should be everywhere. Go look at where you can buy that adaptive controller. And look at their publicity push for that, the commercials, the Super Bowl commercial, the Christmas commercial. It's not about the Xbox. It's not about the console. It was with this adaptive controller. It should be available everywhere if they really want to get this out there. Instead, you buy it at the Microsoft store, and you could buy it on GameStop online. That's it. That's it. And look at how many commercials and what the energy that they put in 4 years. And that was a big deal. Like, Microsoft has not done a commercial on Super Bowl for 4 years. And they come back and did that wonderful adaptive controller commercial. It should be everywhere. And it's not. So then why are you putting all this marketing behind this controller? Every single time Phil Spencer talks, hey, oh, I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of it. Why is it not everywhere? This should be everywhere. So I don't understand. Is it more about public image, or is it about you really want to get this for people to use? The same thing goes for their financing options on their Xbox and the white Xbox and the white control exclusively to their store and maybe GameStop. Like, why are you talking so much blah, 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 blah? But when the rubber hits the road, people can't buy this stuff. People can't use this stuff. Are you just talking out your ass? And we see with Crackdown 3, talking out their ass. Oh, community, community, community. But you can't play with your friends on Crackdown 3. Not at launch. What? Not at launch. You really think people are going to spend more than 2 days on 3 maps on Crackdown 3? I think half the people are done already with it. And then typical Microsoft basically makes you play Crackdown 3 over the weekend and go, you know what, maybe I like this multiplayer, blah, 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 blah. And then drops a bombshell right after the technical demo's over going, yeah, no parties. You can't play with your friends. I don't know if you could do invite system with the single player, but looking at that single player, the city looks dead. The character animations look horrible. And if you say, oh, nitpicking, don't bully Crackdown, blah, 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 you know what? It's disgraceful. It's disgraceful. Yes, Aunt Money. I'm usually not up ranting, and I'm not feeling well. No parties, an invite system in the multiplayer at all. You have 4 guys that want to get together and play and do some multiplayer. Windows Central confirmed it. Joseph Staten on friggin' Twitter confirmed it. They're not doing it. No invite system. So if you want, you could do what I did last night, where we counted down to 3, 2, 1, and hit search for game, and hopefully they threw us in games on other teams and stuff like that. That actually was probably more fun than actually playing the game, but seeing like how it put us in different moods, whatever. It's disgraceful. And this whole ship now, patch later. Just think, and everybody that uses this Game Pass excuse, and this is turning into a whole big thing now. This game is on the retail shelves for $60. Okay, this is a $60 game. Yes, it's an option, right? Remember, guys, it's an option. Game Pass is an option. Crackdown Roulette Party Wheel. Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. It's an option. Remember when like Game Pass, guys, the Game Pass is the is an excuse for mediocrity. No, it's not. Game Pass is an option. It's an option. Well, tell me when you have Crackdown $60, Sea of Thieves at $60, and then you look at it and you see that it's in Game Pass, and you see the excuse like, "Oh, I'm just going to go in Game Pass for it." Let me explain something to you. When you look at Crackdown 3, and get ready for the reviews because I'm saving all this for the fucking Valentine's Day Massacre because it's going to get killed just from what I've seen. Just look at some weird little things. I noticed in the single player, watch when the guy picks up an enemy. The enemy just teleports to his hands. I'm sorry, but it looks like mobile animations. Like it looks like, it looks horrible. Like it looks so like rushed. And shout out to 30 people watching. Hit the like button. Thank you very much for coming out. Get your cup of coffee. But like, I just don't get it. It looks so rushed and the city looks dead. But when you look at it, and people are like, oh, well, it's Crackdown. It's Crackdown. The thing is that Microsoft's vision is trying to reach all different games. Like, to reach up so many people. What's up, Daniel? To reach 2 billion people, right? Well, how the hell are they going to reach 2 billion people when they're making games that are like, well, if you like Crackdown, you'll like Crackdown 3. Like, those are not like industry growing. That's not an industry growing message. So when people go like, oh, well, it's only for Crackdown 3. If you like Crackdown, then you'll like Crackdown 3. And you might hear that as like some way of excusing. And people are going to like it. But if you listen to what Microsoft's trying to do with Game Pass and trying to grow and trying to reach people that typically won't play games, you're not going to reach out to them with a game that is garbage. With a game that might get trashed in reviews and just nobody's talking about it. Everybody's making fun of it. That is not going to draw in people going, oh, let me check this game out on my cell phone when you stream it. Or let me go buy an Xbox and go get this. No, but like when you have a game that comes out like Smash Brothers, like God of War, like Spider-Man, that like people like don't play games like, yo, I heard about this crazy game that everybody's talking about. And that's how you grow your market and people buy your stuff with great games. So again, they're talking out their ass. They're basically going blah, 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 and talking out their ass. I just don't get it. They're talking a good talk. Phil Spencer for president. But what has he done? Go look at why Crackdown's delayed. If you want some comedy, and I'm going to wrap this up, but you want some comedy, go look around November, like around Gamescom in 2017, and go read why it was delayed for polish to make Crackdown on the level of Gears of War and Halo. This is from them. This is not fanboys. This is not media bias. This is not hate. These are the words that are coming out of their mouth. And that's all I talk about. I use their words against them because if they're going to say it, then they own up to it. That's why when I speak and when I'm on shows and when I do my tweets and stuff, I regurgitate exactly what came out of their mouth. I don't use some biased fan or somebody else's comment. I use the words that come out of the horse's mouth and say, you said this 3 months ago. Why are you doing the opposite? And they are liars. They talk a good game. And they have done with the console. And they turn third party right in front of your eyes. And they may come out with an Anaconda. And if you look up to MBG2, you got to look at his video. And he totally says it. When he speaks about Windows Phone, they kept making hardware for Windows Phone even though they were done with the operating system. They couldn't get developer support. And they're doing the same thing with Xbox. They'll make an Anaconda. That's fine. But in their minds, they are done. They are done. So if you're an Xbox fan and you're happy for the console, they're done. In their minds, they're out of there. They might make more hardware, but they are beyond the console. They are out there. They want to try to get little Johnny on his phone. And you're not going to get him with trash games. And they don't realize that. And wait. Just wait. I've done so many streams on these studios that they got. And people think that they're going to be Naughty Dog, Nintendo, and they're going to come out with these games. No. Wait. I bet watch Ninja Theory's game. Turns out to be a friggin' puzzle platformer on Steam and Windows 10 Store and Xbox. What are you going to do? Well, Ninja Theory makes a little, like, remember, Ninja Theory, and maybe they make a great game, but that Hellblade was amazing, and they make some good narrative games. But they worked on Disney Infinity. They made Kung Fu Chaos. They made some games though too, guys. You got to look at all their games. They made Hellblade and Enslaved and stuff like that, but they made other games. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of these studios come out and they're making just a mobile game. They're making some PC strategy game. They're making some sort of like platform jumping game, some top-down shooter game, some below type game, so calm down with like AAAs and oh my God, they're making more people. The lady who shipped these games is working over here. You got to take a chill pill. And you only could comment on what the power of Microsoft's money has done to Rare. The power has done to Crackdown 3. All the money and funding and the millions and billions of dollars that Microsoft is putting into these studios. No marketing for Crackdown. No marketing for Sea of Thieves. No marketing for Forza. Nothing. Straight to Game Pass. And they'll market Game Pass. It's not about the individual game. It's about Game Pass. And it's all about content. And I've said it before. And if you're putting shit content in it, you're going to get shit returns. Because there's so much competition out there. And there's going to be even more competition. And you could have all the Azure cloud servers that you want. And you could have the best infrastructure. But if you don't have the games, look, they got the best Azure cloud. They got cloud technology. They're doing something that's never been done before with destruction. Is it turning any heads? Is anybody looking at that going, oh my God, that is something special? No. People are laughing at it. That a dev probably would say, you know what? I'm not going to use Microsoft Azure because it is a joke. If I say my game is made with the Azure cloud from Crackdown, people are going to laugh my game out of the water going, you going to have matchmaking? Ha, 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 ha. It's all about publicity. It's all about. What's up, Blue? How you doing, man? It's all about publicity. It's all about that. And if this is not respected, if this cloud is a joke and the reviewers come out and destroy it, nobody's going to say, from the technology that brought you Crackdown 3, here comes my game. Nobody's going to say that because they'll be like, it's a negative connotation. I wouldn't want that with my game. Like that cloud destruction, if I was using that technology in a game that I was making, I would not refer to it Crackdown 3. Because people are going to automatically think that my game is crap. And that's the way it goes. It's all about publicity. And this is their first party. This is the power of Microsoft. This is what they have. And you see what they got. They can't even put matchmaking multiplayer parties. Invite your friends. What are you going to do? You know what other game didn't have that either? That didn't have the way to play your friends in matches, I think. Oh, no. Actually, you know what? Nah. I thought it was Friday the 13th. That was the only time I had to use like their sort of like looking for group. because you couldn't play with your friend. You couldn't find games in that one. Actually, that game did have a party mode, but it was just the matchmaking was broken. But and the other thing, and I don't want to turn this into another topic, but this whole like they're prepping for next generation. You know what? They already lost next generation. They have done nothing this generation to warrant any kind of hype for a sequel, for an IP, for a technology. They are just talking out their ass, over talking and under delivering, overhyping and under deliver. And you've seen with the power of the Xbox One X, you got games like Anthem running better on a Pro. They're brute forcing 4K on the X to make the frame rate drop worse. That the optimal place to play is on the PlayStation with a $500 price tag. So who cares if they release the next Anaconda? The thing is that if games are not optimized for that system, because Microsoft is not optimized for a console focused anymore, then guess what? The games are not going to run better on that. So they could have as much power as they want. It's about the merge of software and hardware, and that's why a console exists. That's why iPad is successful over Android tablets, because the software and the hardware work in tandem. And when you have a closed platform, it works. The developer focus is there. Microsoft is not a closed platform anymore. They're throwing shit against the wall to see what sticks. So, and when you have that unfocused thing, there you go. And also, by the way, just wrapping this up with Crackdown. Crackdown also is cross-buy and cross-play. So, that lock-on system you got, mouse and keyboard will probably have it on PC. Nobody will probably play it on PC. Which, shit, I should have tried it yesterday to see if I could use a mouse and keyboard on it, because I was playing on the PC version of it. I use a controller. But I believe that they said that it's cross-play. So maybe that's another reason why the lockdown's there, because they wanted to balance PC and Xbox cross-play. Because, you know, we all wanted that shit, right? And these are the compromises that need to be made, because Microsoft's vision of having one platform of PC and Xbox and keyboard and mouse and things, I wonder if locking on is another reason why you can't have free aim, because you might have a imbalanced game where keyboard and mouse versus controller. Yeah, mouse and keyboard, the same lock on. So I wonder if that's a compromise, because you know what? All our Xbox fans out there, you wanted this. You asked for this, right? These are the compromises to make Microsoft's vision in being everywhere. They screw the people who own the console. And Game Pass is a dumping ground, at least for that first party. I think they're making good headway with multi-platform games and things like that. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. You know, I understand that, you know, people are going to make fun of Crackdown just because they're going to be ha, ha, ha. And yeah, there's people like that. And there's people that are generally disappointed in the game. But you want to know what? Crackdown deserves all of it. I don't feel pity party for Crackdown. It's not free. It's either a subscription or it's $60. And it shouldn't get a pass. It deserves all of it, because it's a disgrace. It is not thought out. It looks unpolished. It does nothing for the franchise. And they delayed it so many times because they had to make it better. They delayed it for polish. And I could go find the tweet that Phil Spencer says that he played it in January. Oh, it just needs some polish. Polish? Does he know what a good game is? Does he know what a game is? Do any of them know? Or they're just worried about putting content in Game Pass? Crackdown is a disgrace. It's even more disgrace that it's a first-party game. And it gives me no confidence that Microsoft knows how to make great games. And I'm hoping, cross my fingers, I'm going to end on this. Shout out to 32 people, man. Thank you so much. Hit that like button. Share the video out. And I think then share on Twitter. Yeah, 20 computational, right? But guys, I hope, cross all your fingers in chat right now, all 32. Gears of War 5 does not fall into the Game Pass problem. Because you know I'll be here on this channel. And I'm going to give it to them. Because if they take Gears of War 5 and go, well, you know what? Only 2 maps at launch, and we're going to add more game modes later on. But it's all about Kate and the single player right now with a little bit of multiplayer. But we're going to add on later on to multiplayer. And it launches like with 2 game modes and 4 maps. Gears of War 5. That's your Game Pass model at work. And that was my fear a year ago. They're going to make games for Game Pass. And I'm not going to change the world. That's right, Benji. Jez going to give it to you. I'm not changing the world. But it's some bull. And if they do that with Gears of War 5, and they show that it's about the single player Kate, because guess what, guys? They really haven't talked about the multiplayer at all. At all. But if they're going to go like, you know what? Here's a couple of maps and only the 2 game modes right now. We're trying to show a new game mode right now. So we're only going to have Team Deathmatch and to capture the flag, this new game mode and 3 maps. More content to come. They're breaking that game apart for that subscription model. And that was my fear. And I'm hoping they don't do that. Because they seem to be really, really into just shipping a game or a half-baked game or something like that and just going, oh, post-content stuff. Like, we're just going to add it later on. Add it later on? Don't fucking add it later on. How the hell can no parties in Crackdown be something that you add later on? You invented the matchmaking system and the party system. You invented it with Halo 2. Joseph Staten, you worked on Halo 2. How the hell could this be not number 1 on your list? How? How? Really? How could Joseph Staten not walk into Crackdown 3 going, oh, we'll make a multiplayer? Okay, what's the matchmaking look like? Oh, there is none, sir. Excuse me? Excuse me? There's no matchmaking. There's no party invite? You can't invite your friends to play? No, sir, there isn't. What? Joseph Staten? Just like when Phil Spencer got the job of being head of game studios when he was head of game studios for so long after Shane. And he gets game studios. Do you think that Phil Spencer being head of Xbox would give us amazing games since he was part of running the Microsoft game studios for the longest time? And under his regime, we have gotten shit. And don't tell me this is Donnie D. Don't tell me that this is Donnie D. Please. Because if that guy made decisions in 2012 that affects us in 2019, somebody better go rehire that guy's ass. Because that's a fucking true visionary right there. So, they're responsible right now. Satya, Phil. Phil's basically ran this entire generation. You know? Donnie D said his dumbass things in the reveal of Xbox, but Phil came in a year later. He was there from the beginning. But don't say, oh, this is Donnie D's game. You know what, people? Please. Please. This is a Game Pass game. And this is what we're going to get. And I hope, but I have in my deepest of hearts, they're going to fuck up Gears 5. They're going to. They're going to do some sort of bullshit, something. And they're going to do the same thing with Halo Infinite. They're going to do it. There's going to be something that Game Pass has changed the game. And that was my biggest problem with Game Pass and Microsoft first party. When you're doing day and date in Game Pass, not even on PC and play, that's a whole other complication. But when you're doing day and date on Game Pass, there's going to have to be some sort of model, because I think it's ridiculous that these games are being coming out for $60. Sea of Thieves, Crackdown 3, $60 on store shelves. And I think it's ridiculous that I just think it's ridiculous that they're doing this. And you know, no parties at launch. I could see Gears of War's multiplayer being fragmented to support somebody to stay subscribed, because that's where their point is. They want people on Game Pass, and they're going to want people on xCloud whenever that comes out years from now. But they're going to be a big push on PC and mobile this year. So if you're an Xbox console fan, you better love that phone, because that's going to be Xbox. That's where they want to go. They went third party right before our eyes, and they'll make hardware. But we all know where their focus is. So they can make the hardware. You probably be a fool to buy more hardware from them. That's why I'm refusing to buy it. Because I hear everything that they're saying. And I see what they're doing outside of gaming, everything. That you would be a fool to buy more hardware from them, because that is not their focus. They are not going to maximize the potential of that hardware. Case in point, Crackdown 3 and the Xbox One X. Just look, we're about a year and a half in of the X. Has Microsoft done that system justice? From them, they haven't. And all we're seeing is brute force resolution and shit frame rates. And it's not even optimized for the hardware. The Hovis method, the jerk-off method, all this bullshit. Nobody cares. The devs don't care. And when Microsoft doesn't put effort into their games, like Crackdown, parties are coming late. Like, not at launch? What is this not at launch shit? You have one time to make a first impression. This game was already devastated. But go look at the single player. Now people are like, oh, the single player. Ybarra's a fucking tool. He's a PC elitist. He plays PC. Yeah, to hear him. He's like, oh, well, matchmaking doesn't work on Apex. Like, Apex is giving me this error. And everybody's like, go play on an Xbox. You got to tell a Microsoft executive to go play on an Xbox? Nobody's following him for his PC following. People follow him for Xbox. It's just, yeah, right, Ant Money. And look what Sony's doing with Days Gone. They got an invite going for their wedding. Like, they send out invitations for a wedding to release more news on that, on Days Gone. And I said this, I don't know what I said. Legion, I said this, that, look, Sony showed Days Gone as, like, you know, all those freakers and zombies going after them, right? It looked like a tech demo. Like, hey, you guys running around, these zombies are going in and all over the place, right? But look how they laid onto that. They've added story. They've said that it's about the bicycle, the motorcycle. It's about, they're building the character and they're building the thing. Look how they're building up to this game. Where Crackdown went the opposite. They showed you all this stuff, and now they're showing you a tech demo. It went backwards to a tech demo. It's less than what it was shown at. Where Sony showed you a tech demo going like, is this going to be a game with these freakers going all over the place and filling up a screen? And they're building the story, and they're getting you hyped up for the character, the story, the environment. They're making you care. And that's what they're doing. They're building up anticipation. And in every flop that Microsoft is doing, Sony's right there with Days Gone publicity. You think the game is coming out in a week. The game's not coming out till April. And they're going to hype it up at the end of February. And then at the end of February, Dreams beta that went public, they removed the NDA. They're going to announce February 22nd. They're going to have probably a release date announcement. Sony is there, right there, and Microsoft is flopping. And Sony's right there to pick up the pieces going, yo, games, you should care about these games. You should go play these games. And Microsoft is like under the radar going, you should subscribe to Game Pass. You should subscribe. And we're just going to low-key, we're not even giving a Crackdown bundle. Like, Crackdown doesn't even exist to them. Like, yeah, whatever. We did this little 2-hour test over the weekend, and it's just going to show up on Friday. Here's our Metro bundle. Here's our Anthem bundle. Oh, and here's the Division 2 bundle. And Crackdown slips under the radar. Oh, no, Crackdown is not on the NDA. Their reviews come out on the 14th. So the whole, the embargo ends today. Either Microsoft got wind of the previews that everybody hated it and delayed the NDA, or that was a lie. But it's Valentine's Day is the NDA. So get ready. But anyway, I said I wasn't going rants, but anyway, I might do another show maybe later on tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, the embargo. The embargo is on the Metacritic's going to have the stuff on Valentine's Day. And we'll see where it goes from there. But, if you just watch the game, you're going to know what it's going to get. And there's going to be people that like it. And, good to them. And that's fine. I'm not hating against people that like the game and like the multiplayer and accepting this. That's fine. I'm not accepting it. And I look at it, the quality that's coming out of Microsoft first party and what they're delivering. It's disgraceful. And that's how I view it as. I'm not saying people that like it have nothing, that have people that, anything against people that like it. But I think it's disgraceful of the quality and the matchmaking. Like, how do you not have party invites and friends, play with friends? Nonetheless, only on 2 game modes and 3 maps. It's ridiculous. And it's this discussion. Yeah, quality. Let's get the quality. Game Pass quality. And Game Pass is not an excuse for mediocrity. It's not. You're still paying. And the expectation should be there. It's not free. And people say, oh, it's free in Game Pass. It's not free. The whole big thing. And one last little tip. I keep saying this. But, remember Game Pass was out for just over a year in 2017. It went in March beta 2017. It fully released in E3 2017. Nobody talked about Game Pass. Game Pass was like, yeah, whatever. Nobody talked about the value of Game Pass until January 2018 when Microsoft said all our first-party games are going to be in Game Pass day and date. That's when Game Pass got relevance. Game Pass wasn't relevant holiday 2017. It wasn't. Nobody was like, whatever. Old games, 360 games, old games. It wasn't until first-party day and date when Game Pass got traction and people started saying, oh, shit, that's cool. So, if that's when it got traction, shouldn't we hold Microsoft first party up to the standards? Because that's what really put Game Pass on the map, was the fact that they're releasing their games day and date in Game Pass. Something never been done before. And there's had to be compromises. And we're seeing those compromises in Sea of Thieves, State of K2 with all the bugs and stuff. Sea of Thieves with no content. Still, I jumped into it. Still boring as shit. You do the same stuff there. They just added more ambiance to it. There's a shark and now there's a volcano island. But it's still just fetch quests. That's all it is. There's no missions. There's no kind of hold down the fort base. There's Skull Island. There's nothing gameplay wise they have like added in the fact of like making this game more than just going and getting a treasure and bringing it back and cashing it in. So, but that's an excuse for Game Pass. And we should hold them accountable. That's what I said game night. So Crackdown, wherever it gets, I'm not holding a pity party for them. They deserve it all. And they get all that smoke is coming with that destruction. Because this is pathetic. It's unacceptable. And if you are a true Xbox fan, this should grind your gears. And I am out, guys. Thank you very much. 30, 40 people watching. Thank you so much. Hit the like button. Share this video out, and I'll be back. And to all my grinders out there, keep giving them that smoke. They deserve it because this is pathetic. They better fix this. Talk to you guys soon. I'm out.